It was once the Kenya Airways Boeing 737-800. Its flights 507 scheduled for Abidjan, Douala, Nairobi on May 5, 2007. 105 passengers, citizens from 26 different countries, most of them from Cameroon, and 9 crew members from Kenya. The plane took off in a stormy weather from the Douala International Airport at 0005 GMT, 1:05 local time. Barely 5.4 kilometers to the south of the end of the airport's runway, the plane crashed into a mangrove swamp in a locality called Bangapongo. The most dreaded was true: no survivors. 114 souls had perished and thousands crushed to mourning. Here's one of such families deeply touched by the tragedy. The widow opens her doors to the production team to tell her story.
This is my story. This is my song.
Welcome to our house. This is Maeva, this is Wendy. As you can see, their pictures are hanging on the wall. Maeva when she was just 1 month. Wendy when she was 8 days. This is the man who changed my story.
This is my story. This is my song.
And this is our wedding day.
All day they long. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior.
When he asked me to call him back, I called back. He told me that, do you know that we are still back on the ground, on the floor? I said, is that? I was surprised. I said, I thought you people have already crossed Guinea Equatorial. He told me, no, there's a very heavy hand here. And I felt like an alert in me. Something just made inside me wrong. And I told him, do you think it's really proper for you people to take off? Can you not drop out of that plane and even go and take a room in a hotel and spend your night? And he told me this is the answer. He said, can you then drop out of the plane as if you are dropping out of a taxi? You know, as when you take a taxi, you can say, I'm going to Marché Central. Then before Marché Central, you say, Déposez-moi. Then I said, oh, I'm just feeling that rain. And it's true that I nearly had a similar case when I was traveling 3 years, not only 3, more than 5 years ago. From 2007 with another company. I was on that rain. We nearly fell with the plane. People were already shouting, crying, screaming. Those who were Muslim were using everybody was in prayer in another way. Anyway, I still remember that I just hold my body like this. I was just praying. I was feeling pains in me that I will not see again my people, because the thing happened at 3 levels. So it was frightful. So I don't know, automatically as he said it, that image just transposed in front of me. I was really disturbed. But he told me, it's the pilot who decides. I said, you said the pilot decides. But if there is rain, he should not move, he should not take off. He said, I told you we are still on the floor. That's why we can communicate. I still remember my grandmother said, oh, if it is like in Europe, because she lives in Europe, that the planes are sophisticated, they are performed, a plane can take off. So that's how They really read it from my face that there was a problem. Then 15 minutes after, not even up to 15 minutes, I just received a message on my phone. I checked the message. It was from his phone. He just wrote, "Take off, bisous to all," at 3 minutes after midnight.
The hugs and kisses to all will be the last ever sent by Cornelius Fru to his family, who will only get the news of the unbelievable, the crash.
I was to travel with my friend who was bereaved. She was working on that morning. She was finishing at 8. And when we quit her job site at 8, we drove to the place. She was having a driver. We were sitting behind. We were conversing like that. And then it's when we reached at we arrived at the death celebration place, that she told me that during the news she was reading on that morning, while she was trying to listen to other stations, she heard something on one of the radio stations that there was a plane crash in Cameroon. I did not really receive it as if it was concerning me. I said, plane crash in Cameroon. I said, which company? She said, they say Kenya Airways. I said, Kenya Airways. It was coming from where? Then she said, they said the plane was coming from Ivory Coast, passing through Douala, going to Kenya. Then I met, she did not talk about South Africa, so I said, it's true that Connie took Kenya Airways, but he was going to South Africa. She said, hey, Mama, first check. Then I first remained like this. Then I said, hey, he was to call me this morning before I leave the house to come and meet you here. Meet you at your job site. He did not call. Even on my phone, he has not yet called. Let him not be. He said, hey, Mama, I beg, there is nobody you can call, give the number so that we call. I say, hey. I started looking, checking far. I said, can it happen to me? I said, no. No. I said, and did you read it on the... She said, no, she could not, because she did not have the go-ahead of her boss. Her boss was not there. And generally, when you don't have the okay of your boss, you cannot be just taking the news like that. Putting. I said, hey. I started... For me, something was already confessing in me that it had happened. People were looking at me. I was no more concentrated for all what was going on there, and there was no network. We had to go at the gate of Mom to look for network. Just imagine us as we went and stood at a particular place where there were stones. We stood on top of the stones. As soon as my phone got the network, I just received signals of SMS. Then a phone call came in. I answered the call. That colleague, she's of late today. She said, Yvette, bonjour. I said, yes. She said, tell me, have Mr. Fu traveled? I said, yes, he traveled. She said, no, don't tell me that it's his name. She said, I'm saying the name on the street. I said, oh. I started crying, shouted there. People... Children were even laughing at me. They did not understand what was going on. I said, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. My legs, I could no more stood for 1 minute. That's how my friend just looked for a car. We drove. We started looking for information. We stopped at whether it was Eutere. when they are priests there, they gave us the right information. I say we have to go and search for him. We went to, when they say it's around Tribi, we went there, search, no way, nothing, no news, nothing was clear. Finally I said, let us go Yaoundé, maybe they have bought him in Yaoundé. That's how we came back in Yaoundé. We came in Yaoundé. When we came in Yaoundé, I really realized that it was true. People were packed in my house. People were packed in my house. When I entered, they were just took me to the room that I should put on a kaba. I said, but put a kaba for what? Where is he? And they say, no, put a kaba first. I said, but I'm putting a kaba for what? Tell me, where is he? Is he in the hospital? They say, no, it's better that you should put a kaba. I said, something has happened. I just remember that I felt on the ground. I don't know. At the moment, I just felt pain because I wound somewhere there. They came and be putting a spirit. It was terrible. It was horrible. I didn't know that I can be alive till today. But thanks to God, it's only God. I expected. I was just putting my phone in front of me. I say, you will call, you will call, you will call. And when the phone rings, I'm just opening my ears thinking that he is the one calling. They say, no. Oh, it was horrible. I look at children passing. I say, no. I say, you people should stop crying. Look at the children. They're too small. God cannot allow that he should die and leave me with these children. You people should stop crying. He's coming. He's somewhere. I'm sure he used to make sport. He's somewhere in the bush struggling to look for the way to reach on Axelu. He cannot die. He cannot die. I was very sure he cannot die. But I knew that there is no network where he is. He's struggling. I was just praying God that he should help him to succeed, to come out of the dark forest and come out. But till today, I've not seen him.
With the assistance of search teams on the site of the crash, his remains were, however, identified from his outfits.
What he was putting on, it was a Camtel polo. He was putting on with a mark of Camtel on the chest. And they really saw part of him with it. It was really gum on his body. So that's what they gave me when they gave us the corpse 6 months after, because they gave us the corpse in November. The removal took place on the 6th of November 2007.
The government of Cameroon extended its sympathy to the bereaved in a requiem celebrated in memory of the dead. The airline which flew the passengers gave compensations to the mourning families, while Cornelius' employer made important strides to fill the vacuum left behind by the family head.
As he was working with a Comtel company, I informed his boss, and they put a driver and a car at my disposal. That's how we went to Douala, and then they make us fill papers. I had to bring my marriage certificate and other papers, the children's birth certificate and his birth certificate, and so many other papers to go on with the transaction. At first, they gave, I will not say they proposed, they were giving an advance. They were saying it's just to sustain, since the person who was taking care of the family is no more, so they are giving it just for us, not to fill the gap. Yes, that's what they did. They first gave one part, and then later on they gave the second part. From that, what they gave for me, I knew that the next thing is to prepare for how to do the date celebration. We had built a house in Mancon, which was still in chantier. I will not just leave that he should come and lay his cups in an environment. I have to try and finish the house. I wrote a letter to his general manager to inform him that we had a house we were building together, and that I wish to make it look proper, as it's only there that they will lay his corpse. What they gave us to sustain, I better add it for the house to look again more beautiful. So I put tiles, I put paint, I put paint and then glasses on the windows, and I put doors on the different rooms of the house.
All these moves were made in memory of a man who meant the world to his entourage.
I want to say that he was a perfect young man. He was a gentleman, a man of honor, very attentive to his family, that is, to his sibling. He became a father before his age, the way he took care of and protected his sibling. That is before he got married to Yvette. Professionally, he was an engineer, and I tell you about his profession. He came out of P&T and he worked while I orientated him, and I recommended him to go to University of Essex in England, where I studied. And he had a master's degree in telecommunication system. When he came back and he started this Higher Institute of Public Management, I said, at your age, you should do that program because it will help you in your profession. He did it. When he died, he was in the process of writing his thesis for a master's degree in public management.
I knew I can count on him. He knew he could count on me. Everything we were doing things together.
When we were finishing church on Sundays, he would buy us anything we want, and soon later he will bring us and next that we should play. When finishing, we go home, and soon the other Sundays is repeated.
4 years on, the crash has been blamed on spatial disorientation on the part of the pilots. The wounds are yet to heal, and the widow remains downbeat. Life has changed from what he made it to be to what it is today.
If we human beings we could change God's plan, then things will be going on well. He wouldn't have died, then there wouldn't have been any problem. Even if there were problems, people will not come out clear with their problems like that. Now that he is no more, there are many understanding, many problems, and thanks to God, because I know everything will come to pass away. When I say come to pass away, there will be an end of this world. But people keep on hanging on Ckeck, as they say in a common pidgin. As I was telling you people about the house he left, I was condemned for have continued to arrange the house. I was condemned for have put a gate on that compound. I was condemned to have put pillars on that compound. I was condemned to have done the work without informing, because now that is no more his property, it's a family property. So you can even see a convocation addressed to me by the SDO of Bamenda. You can see the convocation is now written on my birth name. So meaning that I no more belong to that family. As my husband died, it means I have to be thrown away. So they held a meeting. This is the list of the members who held the meeting. Those who maybe they have wrote their names and who could not be for the matter, they went and put fingerprints all over, because this is something which can even cost them to prison. Because if you refuse to sign, they'll go and put fingerprint to show that you also sign. So 15 people held the meeting to say I'm not legitimate. You know, when they notice that there is no more husband around you, everybody tries to pick what he can pick. So I protected it because that is where my husband brought me. That's where he brought me with the children, and that's where we have buried him. And there was no other discussion of where to bury him. They could not bury him any other place than to bury him in his compound. So tell me, if he is in his compound, why can we not put a gate around the compound? Why can we not continue the process he started? So that's the situation.
In spite of these hurdles, Yvette keeps the faith and praises God for her life.
Thanks to God that God gave me a job, and every month I can pay my rent. I can afford to children's desires. I can fuel my little car. And you know, women are always fighting for ways to make money. So I have what they say in French, mal arrière boutique. I have things I sell. I go around in my back boots. When it happened, I can stop somewhere to show to people when I'm not working, when I'm not on duty.
This transformation and engagement in God's work is confirmed by her mother, pastor, and friend.
Elle n'est plus la Yvette qui vivait au temps de Cornelius. Parce qu'avec Cornelius, il formait c'est-à-dire ce couple était tellement jovial.
Et depuis fin 2007 jusqu'à nos jours, Yvette est une femme vraiment appliquée dans les voies du Seigneur et très engagée par rapport à ce qu'elle était il y a 3, 4, 5 ans.
Wow, everything is special about her. She's such an enterprising woman. She's an idol for me. Having to witness all what she went through and how she overcame all her trauma and how she's been making it up for her kids, bringing them up spiritually. And you know, even at times when I feel depressed, besides the fact that she is a friend, she's one of the persons that I can relate to, present my problems, and she advises me.
She moves on day by day with hope, but not with a prayer to have another man in her life.
For the moment, I look at those children, they are so young, so small. So if I engage in such a life, you know, human being, maybe they can wound them one day and I will not feel fine. In my head it's already, I feel like, anyway, for me it's like they can say it a blockage. I don't want to check on that page. Maybe God's plan, who knows, but for the moment I've told to God to give me strength to bring up the children.
For her 2 daughters, whom she protects, the message is soul searching.
The message I have for them is just to keep on looking to God, because that's what I always tell them. Whatever situation, because sometimes when they want to complain on something, I say, you don't forget that God is your father. Even if I'm not there, I can be there, something can happen to you. Just turn to God. You know, God is the father of orphans and the defender of widows. Here we are today without daddy, but we are living because God is with us. So they should not neglect God, and they should continue their studies to be whatever tomorrow.
These should be an inspirer to all who are faced with unimaginable difficulties.
I want to share something with other widows. If you did not go to school or you did not afford to have a good job, try and turn unto God. Don't count on human beings. I'm talking like this, I know I'm on the stream. Nobody, either my husband's friends or colleagues, nobody can say he has assisted us. Neither the family or the in-laws. My children don't have even a book or a pen or a pencil bought for one of the people. Nobody has ever said, oh, this is a bag of rice for these children, or this is a book for them, or I don't know. I'm on the TV if they can come and say it. So widows should not count on human beings. They should count to God, because God said it in His word. That is the father of orphans, or husband, or defender of widows. So you have already something which is linking you to God, His word, and He's always applying His word. Whatever you do, when you say, God, this is what you say, He will be with you. And that's what I'm living since 4 years, 1 month, as I've turned completely to God.
This is my story.